Namaste. This is our second day of our 21-day meditation challenge. And today I want us to focus on the fact that we are energetic beings. We are light bodies. And if we think about energy not being seen, but being felt and measured, we can actually use our own physical body to test this out. There's so many reflex points on the body, not just the hands and the feet, but there is a multitude on the hands and the feet. And that's usually one of the first places, especially as a yoga practitioner, you begin to feel your body as energy. So we're going to take our hands and we're going to bring them together and rub vigorously. I always think of a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout learning survival skills when you're doing this. It's like they're trying to create fire. And you do start to feel the friction and the heat in the palms of the hands. All right, now if you just cup your palms where your fingers are slightly curling in, notice the energy field that you've created. And you can slim up the distance between the hands or broaden the distance between the hands. But start to imagine that you're holding an iridescent, energetic ball. And then just slowly start to turn your hands. Feeling that energy still feeding back and forth. And know that when we are in a really high vibration, our energy field or the aura around the body can really expand. And when we're in a lower vibrational field or mindset, it shrinks. And so if we want to be a beacon of light in the world, we want to be able to allow that inner light in our energy to expand. So one way to consider creating this feeling of expansion is to work with what we may need to be healing internally. I often say that we're co-creators. You know, God or Source or Great Spirit's the ultimate creator, but we are a fractal of that. And we were made in that like image. So we are also helping to co-create. And if we're helping to co-create, it means that we're also alchemists. And that's why I love yoga and meditation so much, because it can help us with our inner alchemy. And it can transmute energy. So what we're going to start with today is the idea of turning our pain into something beautiful. Alchemizing any hurt that we might have encountered maybe this past year or this past month or this past week or even in the past 24 hours. All right, so now that you know what we're gonna work on today, let's find our comfortable seat. You can sit in a chair, cross-legged, or with your feet firmly planted on the ground. And extend your vertebrae. Feel as though that is like your antenna. We are a conduit between the heavens and the earth. Start your mindful breath work, breathing in and out through the nose. Each time you inhale, feel as though you're pulling energy up from the earth, from your seat, through your spine, up to your third eye. Every time you exhale, feel as though you're opening up your crown, receiving from the heavens, dropping down into your seat and into the earth below. Continue taking a few deep breaths. And notice how your mindful breath work begins to minimize excess thoughts, any restless energy in your mind or body. And if you're not feeling this alchemy occur already, feel free to pause the video, to take a few more breaths, to take a little bit more time until you are ready. Now, please consider how a pearl is made. It starts as an irritation, just a grain of sand. Something that hurts, yet the oyster doesn't spit it out. Instead, the oyster begins to wrap it up in layers of softness that turns the pain into a jewel. With this in mind, I want you to consider and reflect on maybe that greater pain or wound that you experienced this past week, month, or year. Whatever may have hurt the most. Bring it into your mind, and more specifically, your mind's eye, and cover it with love and compassion. Cover it with discernment and wisdom. And now recall and remember how you survived it. How you came through on the other side. And you may still feel like you are on that journey. Because we survived it, know that we are better, bolder, and more beautiful than before. Know that we have the capability, just like an oyster, to turn our pain into a gift, into a gem, a jewel, a pearl. Imagine that white iridescent coloration of the pearl, the perfect shape of the pearl. This pearl represents what you've earned. It represents the valuable lesson that we had to learn, or the insight that we needed to gain. Hold this pearl close. Treasure it. Without regretting the painful process that you had to endure or that you may be enduring now. Instead, marvel at what's possible to create. We are all co-creators. And this is to remind you that you and I are alchemists. And as the Eastern philosophies often say, life is suffering. Yet in the yogic tradition, we're taught to go to the root of the suffering. We can identify that suffering, and we can extract that suffering, or we can alchemize that suffering. So let's be alchemists, because that was just one affliction that we focused on. And as humans and as mature adults, we've encountered many. So there may be much more to alchemize that you haven't already processed from your past. So we're going to be still a moment and breathe into our light body and imagine that light body inside and outside is that same similar white, iridescent coloration like a pearl. So each time you breathe out, envision how the oyster overlays that grain of sand with softness. Where can we bring softness into the hardened places in our bodies? Can you invite the softness into any hardness in your heart, in your outlook, in your attitude? Let each breath bring a wave of softness to your mind, body, and spirit. Affirming, I alchemize my pain into pearls. 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 begin to open your eyes. And please remember, even just a little dose of meditation daily can allow us to overcome colossal suffering according to the yogic text. So I appreciate you coming along on this meditation challenge with me. Namaste.